what looks like Santa Claus, has the beard like Santa Claus, has the red outfit and the black belt like Santa Claus, the red hat with the white trim like Santa Claus, but isn't Santa Claus. It's the Santa Gnome. And this little sprite is just right for your holiday tree. Christmas wouldn't be Christmas without this little gnome on your tree. Stay tuned, and we're going to go over the instructions for how to make this cute little amigurumi. He's a cutie. Okay, this is what you will need to make your little gnome. You'll need some scissors. You'll need a yarn needle. You will need scrap yarn. You'll need a little more red than any other colors. You will need a little bit of white, a little bit of gold, or something to form the buckle on our Santa gnome. So if you would like to use silver or gray, that would be fine as well. You'll need some type of flesh color for his nose, so any color you choose is fine, and then black for his belt. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is make a magic circle. With our red. Okay, and once we have the magic circle made, we are going to single crochet in the magic circle 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then we will tighten this a little bit, not too tight. The tighter you make your ring, the harder it is to get into that first stitch. Once we get into that first stitch, then you can tighten it up nice and tight. Okay, so we are going to be working in the round. We will not be stopping and starting. We will just do a continuous circle. So the next row, we are going to do an increase row, and that means that we are going to put 2 single crochets in each of the 6 stitches that we have already made. So we are going to go into that first stitch, and we are going to make a single crochet. We're not connecting, we're single crocheting right away, and then we are going to single crochet again. And one thing I neglected to say is that we will need a stitch marker. So I'm going to get my stitch marker. This just makes it easier to know where the first stitch is on a row. Okay, so I'm going to stick that into that first stitch that I just made, and then I'm going to turn this over and kind of pull this a little bit, pull the tail a little bit, and tighten that circle. Okay. All right, and so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches to go, and we're going to put 2 single crochets in each of those stitches. And you'll find when you start out with a magic circle, it is a little bit fiddly at first, just because you're working with such a tiny piece of crochet work. However, the more you get going, the easier it gets. So don't worry if you're really slow at the beginning. Okay, and here's our last one. All right, so that's our second row. The third row will be also an increase row. We are going to increase in the first stitch and then single crochet in the next stitch, increase in the next stitch, single crochet in the next stitch. increase, and single crochet. So I'm going to go back 3 stitches because I just made 3 stitches. Okay, then I'm going to increase and single crochet, increase and single crochet. We're going to keep doing this pattern all the way around. Just a couple more to go. Increase and single crochet, and one more set. Increase and single crochet. There we go. Okay, so the next round we are going to do an increase row one more time, and this will be an increase and then single crochet in the next 2 stitches, increase, single crochet in the next 2 stitches, and we're going to follow that pattern all the way around as well. Increase. So I've made two stitches. So I'm going to go into this stitch with my stitch marker, and now I'm going to do 2 single crochets in a row, 2, and then I'm going to do an increase and 2 single crochets in a row, increase, 2 single crochets in a row, increase, 2 single crochets, and just keep following that pattern until we get to the end. I love little projects like these because they help you use up your stash of scrap yarn or yarn that you have left over from other projects. Also, it's nice, let's see, that was 2, 1, 2. It's nice if you have you know, a collection of different colored yarns, and then you can just use a little bit of this and a little bit of that and slowly work your way through. Okay, we're at the end of that row. Now for rows 5, 6, and 7, we are just going to single crochet all the way around. No increases on these rows. 5, 6, and 7, just single crochet all the way around. And I am going to go ahead and do that, and I will meet you at the end of round 7. Okay, and I'm coming around to the end, as you can see, and I'll show you how we are going to join this. Okay. What we're going to do is pull that through, cut this black, pull it through and tighten it a little bit. We're going to go into the inside of the project, and you can open it up a little bit, and we're going to tie the two black ends together in the back, and we're going to leave it stuffed inside of the amigurumi. Okay, and while we have this here, let's go ahead and tighten this magic circle that we did, and let's go ahead and just weave in the end just a bit, just to keep it from opening up and coming apart. Anytime you do a magic knot, there is the chance that it will come apart if you don't weave in a little bit of ends. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to just leave that in there as well. Okay, so we're going to tuck the black ends in, and as you can see, we still have this, and what we're going to do is tuck these in. We're going to go in right here, and we're going to bring up a loop. So now we have the red loop, okay? And now all we're going to do is, let's go ahead and make that a chain. We're going to go in, and in the top of the, and this is black, it's very hard to see. It's hard for me to see. Goodness. And in the top of the half double crochet that we just did, we're just going to do row 9, 10, and 11 in single crochet with the red. So 3 rows of single crochet with the red. And I'm going to keep going. Do 3 rows of single crochet with the red all the way around, and I'll meet you at the end. Our next row is going to be row number 12, and for row number 12 we will do a single crochet 2 together, and then single crochet, and then a single crochet 2 together, and then a single crochet, and I'll show you how to do that. So the single crochet 2 together, you insert your hook into the stitch, you yarn over and pull up. You have 2 loops on your hook. You might want to hold on to that one and go into the very next stitch. Insert your hook, yarn over and pull up. You have 3 loops on your hook. Then you yarn over and pull through all 3. And that is a single crochet 2 together. Now I am definitely going to use my stitch marker with this, even though we do have that jog to remind us. I just want to make sure when I get to the end that I have the correct stitch count. And if I know where I started, then I know that I am correct with this. So now we're going to single crochet and single crochet 2 together, and then single crochet, single crochet, 2 together, single crochet, single crochet, single crochet, 2 together, single crochet, single crochet, and just keep doing that pattern all the way around. And I'll show you what I mean. Single crochet, 2 together, and now I have 2 stitches left, and that is absolutely perfect because I've just done my single crochet, 2 together, and I should be doing 2 single crochets, and I know that my row was correct. That's why I use the stitch marker, just to ensure that I am doing this correct. Now don't worry about that jog, that's going to be in the back, and we're going to put this part as the front of our Santa gnome. Okay, so now the next row, row 13, we're going to do a single crochet, 2 together, and then 1 single crochet, and we're going to repeat that all the way around as well. Okay, so let's do a single crochet, 2 together, and I'm going to put my stitch marker in, and 1 single crochet, 2 together, 1 single crochet, 2 together, and 1 single crochet all the way around. And here I have 1 stitch left, and that's perfect. Okay, now my opening is getting a little bit small, so I think I'm going to get some stuffing, some fiber fill, and I apologize, I forgot to tell you at the beginning that you are going to need some fiber fill. Let me grab that. Okay, I'm back and I have fiber fill. All right, so I'm going to pull this loop up really high so that I don't have to worry about my stitches coming out. I am going to stuff this, and I'm just going to stuff a little bit of fiber fill at a time. I'm not going to take a big old hunk at a time because I don't want it to be lumpy, and the smaller pieces of fiber fill that you use, you know, they can just kind of get in there if they're not one big piece. So I like to just put a little bit at a time. And just kind of work it in. Make sure that the bottom is nice and filled out. Now you'll still have time, maybe with the next row, to fill in a little more if you don't want to go to the top. At this point, it's really up to you and your crochet style. I'm going to, and I'm probably going to put a little more in once I get it closed a little bit more, just so that it's nice and filled out on this top area here, because it has a nice little squish to it. Okay, so what we're going to do now is single crochet 2 together all the way around until this is closed, and I'll show you how I do that. So Let me get my hook in there, pull this back up. Yeah. Okay, single crochet, 2 together. And I'm just going to keep going around, and it will naturally close up. And you will have the body, the top of the body, nice and closed. Okay, see how it gets smaller and smaller? So I think right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fasten off with a nice tail and tighten it down. There we go. And if you see the little tiny pieces of fiber fill coming through, just, you know, clean them up. It's okay. Kind of give this your whatever shape you want. You can kind of squeeze him into whatever kind of shape you want. And then I'm going to weave in this end just a little bit. Okay, I'm just going to give it a little push and cut right there, and then voila, the end is gone. Okay, so that's our little body. Let's get working on the nose. Okay, now the nose is so small we won't need to use any fiber fill to fill the nose. Because it is so small. It only has 3 rounds, so that's pretty easy. However, it is small, so it will be a little bit tricky, so don't be intimidated by it, okay? We're going to do the magic circle. And we're going to do 6 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, give that a tug. Alrighty, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right here is that first stitch. There we go. See? And we're going to single crochet all the way around. Okay, so that was the first single crochet. And I am going to use stitch marker for that. Since this is so small, it would be easy to lose track. Okay. So that was 1. This is 2. 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, and I'm going to encourage this to come around, and then also give the this a little tug. Okay, all right, now the next step is to just do a single crochet 2 together 3 times, and then we should be done. So we're going to do this one and this one, and we have to encourage it to go this way, okay? And 3 together. There we go. This one and this one, and actually when you get done with that one, let me see if I can do the third one, because it is getting harder and harder. So I'm going to say no to the third one. We have a little nose, a cute little nose. I'm going to flatten it out a little bit. So there's our cute little nose, and I'm going to finish off. I'm going to go in this way and finish off. Give a tug, give a tug. There's our little nose. Okay, so these 2 ends, I'm going to give them a little knot. This is not going to be seen. And I'm going to keep these strands so that we can connect them to our amigurumi part, okay? Okay, let's get started on the hat. What we're going to do is a magic circle, and in that magic circle we are going to make 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then we're going to pull our yarn a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to go backwards 4 and go into that stitch right there. And we are going to single crochet. And then in that same stitch, we're going to single crochet 1 more time, because this is going to be an increase row. Okay. Then we're going to use our stitch marker and go into that stitch. Pull this a little bit more to tighten that tail. Okay, now we have 3 more stitches to do an increase in. 1 single crochet in that one, 1 single crochet again, the next stitch, and the next stitch increase single crochet in that one as well. Okay, there we go. Now for a couple rows, we're just going to do single crochets all the way around to make that pointy hat. So here's one. Goodness. Two. Three. 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, that's that. Okay, I'm going to do a couple more rows. These rows go fast when you only have 8 stitches in them. So we have the tip of our hat, and that's nice. We want to just keep going. Another row. Okay, so let's recap what we've just done. We started out with a magic circle and 4 single crochets. The next row we did an increase row, so we did 2 single crochets in each stitch, so that brought us to a count of 8 stitches on each row. And then we have just completed 3 rows of single crochet. Okay, and that is what we've done. And now the next row, what we're going to do is an increase row. So we are going to increase in the next stitch. And 1 single crochet in the next stitch. Increase in the next stitch. And 1 single crochet in the next stitch. Increase in the next stitch. And 1 single crochet in the next. Increase in the next stitch. And 1 single crochet in the next. Okay, so that is slowly bringing our hat wider. Okay, so we're going to do another row of single crochet all the way around. Okay, it's slowly getting larger and taller. Let's see what it looks like on our, yeah, not quite there yet, but it will be very soon. Okay, the next row we're going to do an increase row. And so we are going to increase in the first stitch. And in the next 2 stitches, we are going to single crochet, increase, single crochet in the next 2 stitches, increase, single crochet in the next 2 stitches. Oop, I got a thread there. Let's see. There we go. Increase and single crochet in the next 2 stitches. Perfect. Okay, and it is getting wider, and that's awesome. So now we're going to do 2 more rows of single crochet, just straight single crochet. One more row. Okay, let's take a look. So, as you can see, our gnome hat is wide enough. We just have to make a brim now. And so that's what we're going to work on. And how we're going to make the brim is we are going to increase in every stitch around, okay? So we're going to increase all the way around. I've seen lots of gnomes, but I kind of like the floppy over the eye kind of hat. I've seen some that are straight up and down, and they kind of look like the old-fashioned, what we used to call dunce hats. But I do like the kind of like the floppy garden gnome kind of a look. So, and our Santa gnome is going to look super cute because we're going to put a layer of white at the very edge of this hat.
All right. So as you can see, the brim is coming out in a nice manner. We're going to test it. And it is coming out. We want to make sure that we have room for the nose to peek out as well. So as you're doing this, you're just going to want to make sure that you have room for your little nose to peek out, and we do. So it's time for the fluffy white. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to magic knot this. Okay, and I have my white. Now let's do the magic knot together, okay? Now, while you're watching this, if it gets confusing or if you need to refer back, I do have a separate magic knot tutorial that you can go and look at any time. Okay, so we're going to do that. Make our A. We're going to loop this over and through and tie our knot. And give it a nice little tug. Okay, so now that we have the white tied onto the red, now we have to tie the red onto the white. So we're going to make our little A shape, just like that. We're going to pick it up and loop this yarn over and through the top of that A. And then we're going to give it a little tug. Tug nice and tight. Then we're going to take our two colors and we're going to slowly bring them together and have those knots marry. There we go. Then we're going to give it another little tug. Make sure it's tight. Snip our yarn, not too close. There we go. Now, the hat, let's see. Okay. Okay, and see how that goes to the bottom? So I'm going to let it stay there in the bottom and leave the knot. I'm not going to pull tight. I'm going to leave the knot there and I'm going to pull this through. There we go. So the knot can stay on the bottom, and that's okay because that is going to be connected to the top of the head. Okay, I'm going to tuck this string down in. All right, now what we want to do is chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Go into the next stitch and single crochet. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Go into the next stitch and single crochet. One, 2, 3. Next stitch and single crochet. And with these stitches so close together, it is going to start ruffling this edge. You're going to do this all the way around. And when you get to the end, you're going to tie off, and it will be time to assemble our pieces together. So keep doing this, and I'll meet you at the end, and we'll put our little gnome together. Okay, now that we have all of our pieces assembled, we need to put them together and turn it into our little gnome. So what we need to do first is figure out where we're going to put the nose. And I think we're going to put the nose right about here. Okay? So you see that there's just a good one row of red, and you can see the bottom partial of that one. So I think what we're going to do, because we have to figure out where we're going to put our strands of white to create the beard, I think what we're going to do is put one double strand here, and one here, and then one over here corresponding with this one. So we're going to put one in that row, and then right below where we're going to put his nostrils, and then one right here. Okay, and I think that that will help fill that out. So let's go ahead and get started with that. Okay, so what we're going to do is loop right here. Now I made these strands of white extra long because it's so much easier to trim the beard later than it is to have a very short beard. Trust me, you cannot work with a really short beard. So we're going to fold it over so that it's a loop. You see that? Fold it in half, and then we're going to pull that loop through this stitch right here. Okay, we're going to loop it up. There you go. And then when we pull this through that loop, pull all the loose strands through the loop, the beard will be going down and the knot will be up here. So let's see if we can tighten that knot. I'm going to give it a pull and tighten it as best I can. I may have to pull individual strands to get them going. There we go. Okay, so that's good. That's the first one, and as you can see, it is way too long, okay? But that's all right. So if the nose is going to go here, then we want one to be right here and right here, because we don't really want to see this. We want to be able to tuck it under where the nose is. Okay. So I think what we're going to do is this. Okay. Okay, so let's do one right up here to coincide with this, and then we'll figure out where that fourth one will go. And this is where you get to be creative. So if you are not into looping this through and you want to fluff out your yarn and hot glue it, you can. If you have fabric glue and you want to try that, go for it. This is my method of doing this, but certainly it's not the only one, and there have got to be other wonderful ideas out there. So let's see, I think I'm going to put another one right in here, right here, right here. Okay. Okay, now obviously this does not look like a beard. Oh yeah. But what we're going to do is take a brush to it, and we're going to brush these strands